It's a new day all over.
Welcome back to New Day Northwest. I bet you did not know this. It is Beetle Awareness Week. Did anybody know that? No. Well, beetles have their own week. It is true. Granted, it's because the emerald ash border beetle, and that's hard to say, has been wreaking havoc on trees in the Midwest, killing millions of ash trees. Here in the Northwest, we don't have that problem just yet, but we do have other species of beetles here that can do some damage. Brian Rolfe from the Seattle Bug Safari, which is a way fun thing to do, is go visit the safari. Brian's here to show us what to look out for, plus some other beetles and creepy crawlers. And just while you start, Brian, I'm going to wrangle our millipede, who is attempting to escape. I know. He's all right. Come over here, buddy. All righty. There we go.
So we do have beetles in the Northwest that do cause damage to trees, and these are three of the species that are commonly found. This particular one's a western pine beetle.
The little tiny one?
The little tiny one, the smallest one. And actually, this piece of bark shows the galleries what the larva will do inside the tree. And what it's doing is the larva is eating the cambium layer of tissue that's between the bark and the tree itself.
Will that kill the tree?
It doesn't necessarily kill it right away, but it damages it, makes it weak, and then other species are then able to invade the tree. It makes the tree susceptible to other
Go ahead.
to other diseases that might kill the tree. In the case of severe infestations, like what's happening in the Midwest with the emerald ash borer, they are killing the trees because they're so damaging.
Bad news.
Right. This is a white-spotted Sawyer beetle, which is a pretty cool species that I like to find up in the mountains around the Cascade Mountains.
You like to go look for them?
Well, you know, just as I'm hiking in late summer.
Brian, you're a little weird.
Yeah. That's what my wife tells me.
The millipede's almost off the reservation. Go ahead.
And the next guy here is the California Prionis beetle, a very large specimen that I've never actually seen. And this one was brought into the bug safari, two years ago.
That's cool looking.
Someone came in and said, hey, we found this in our backyard. What is it? I didn't know what it was, so I did a little bit of research and found out what it was. So now, the larvae of these three beetles kind of look like this. Now these are not the same species. Yeah, these
Can
are.
you see that?
These are typical mealworms that you can actually buy in pet stores.
What's up with this millipede? It's like going for the exit. Come back here.
And so these three species, the pine beetle will actually damage the cambium layer of the tissue of the tree. The western Sawyer beetle is actually going to penetrate into the heartwood of the tree, weaken it. And now I'm talking just the larva state of these guys. The Prionis beetle will actually eat the roots.
Okay, so none of that's good for our trees.
Right. But these creatures are providing a benefit to the forest because they are kind of killing the trees that may have been weak anyway or died anyway. There are other creatures that actually eat these guys too, so just imagine almost any carnivore in the forest is going to eat some of the larvae of these guys and or the adults.
Oops. All right, and who do we have
here? So these are blue death feigning beetles. These are from the Sonoran Desert. And if you notice the one right in the center on this piece of apple is kind of posing like he's a little statue.
He's alive, believe it or not.
Yeah, these guys are alive. And Margaret, if I get you to hold your hand out, I'll just pick one of these guys up, and we'll see if he does this little trick. They just freeze. They act like they're dead if they feel that like there's a threat around.
Me too.
Yeah, and what's really cool is when you just kind of flip them over, and then they're really just plain dead.
Wow. So playing possum is just their way of surviving out there in the world.
Right. They figure that's the best line of defense for them is to play dead.
I can
and what's neat for us, but what's also bad for us as keepers of these little creatures, you can see we can kind of stack them up on top of each other as they play dead. The bad thing is when we check their habitats every morning, sometimes we find guys that aren't moving and we're not sure, well, okay, are you dead or alive? And so they're very, very convincing. So we don't dispose of them right away once we notice that they're not moving.
Give them some time.
Give them a little bit of time.
I'm going to let you take the millipede when he needs to be.
Sure.
He's still.
Yeah, we'll just let him cruise around.
This is so cool. This is a beetle that looks like a sea turtle, like a little tiny sea turtle.
Like a little turtle, right? Yeah, these are
so cool.
sunburst diving beetles. And
it's beautiful. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a little, they're black with the little yellow spots. And look at him, he looks just like a turtle diving down.
Yeah. So these guys, they're able to submerge underwater by trapping a little air bubble in between their wings and their abdomen.
Who knew?
And every once in a while, you'll see a little air bubble sticking up. And that's how they breathe.
And they're beautiful.
Underwater. Yeah. So now the larval state of these guys actually live in the water. And these are predatory beetles, so they're going to be eating small insects or tiny fish that might be in the water.
Wow, I just think these things are so amazing. Now, you brought Mr. Millipede to show us.
Right, so this is a desert millipede. They're found in the same area that the sunburst diving beetles are found. And if you want to go ahead and hold your hand up. These guys are
I do more than anything.
herbivores. They eat plants.
You brought a tarantula last time, so this is a step up.
Yeah.
And these guys don't
nicer.
hurt you, right?
No. The only way that this guy might hurt you is if you like squeeze his body really hard.
Which I promise not to do.
What they'll do is they release a liquid that's out of the side of their body that's actually a poison.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem there. I will not be squeezing him.
Right.
I got it.
And the yellow coloration of the millipede is actually an indication to other creatures. Once they try to eat one of these, they get this really bad taste in their mouth, and then they realize that, okay, that yellow color, yellow and brown striped creature tastes bad, so we're not going to eat that again as we grow up. The creatures.
If you don't think about it too much, it's kind of an interesting feeling.
Yeah.
100 little feet crawling over me.
Yeah, and so there are 4 little legs for each one of these little body segments, and for each
Wow.
round segment that you see, there's 4 legs.
So like a lot of
you'll
things,
see.
if you're not aggressive with it, it won't be aggressive with you.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brian, it's always great to have you here. The Bug Safari is, tell us where you are.
We are down on the Pike Street Hill Climb, which is just below the market and just across the street from the aquarium.
Everybody should know about this because honestly, even if you are creeped out by bugs, maybe especially if you're creeped out by bugs,
Yeah.
it is just a cool place to go. It's
Yeah.
like the bug zoo. And you don't have to handle anything if you don't want to, right?
Right, yeah.
So you're safe from that. When we come back, we're going to talk about snarls to gum, hair-raising experiences, all those things that are sometimes a parent's nightmare. We're going to tell you how to solve them. Today, we've got tips for fixing the hair disasters you don't want to encounter with your kids, but probably will. Brian, thanks again. We'll be right back.